going to start with some mobility down on the ground. Kind of our first flow is going to kind of tie into that mobility section. All right. So what we're going to do is going to start on one side of our mat. We're going to get a nice little hinge. We're going to walk ourselves in our nice, good inchworm position. In that high plank position, we're going to get what we call some scapular push-ups. We're going to work to lower our chest down to the ground by keeping those elbows stiff. You're going to basically try to wing those shoulder blades up as high as you can. And then create space between those shoulder blades by pushing away, lifting your chest as far away from the mat as possible. We'll go ahead and go 2 more of those. Lower ourselves down, squeeze those shoulder blades, keep those elbows stiff, and push away. Create as much space between those shoulder blades, elbows still stiff. And one more time, ease ourselves down, and push ourselves away. All right, I'm going to push back into that down dog. Reach that chest towards those toes. Extend those arms through those shoulders. Fingertips to hips as high as you can, or as long as you can. And we're going to wave that through our spine. Nice good spinal wave. Dropping those hips down, that head to the ceiling. We're going to get a nice little rotational twist. Each way, decompress that back just a little bit. And then we're going to push back into our child's pose. Reaching those arms out, reaching those hips back. Creating length through those lats. I'm going to go ahead and relax there. So we're going to start off where we are, on the ground. So we're going to actually start in our runner's lunge. So we're going to go ahead and bring 1 foot forward. Those hands can go down the inside of that foot or wherever they're most comfortable. I'm just focusing on opening those hips a little bit. So we're going to hold here. Our first kind of run through this is going to be a little bit long. We're going to kind of really hold each position for about 30 seconds or so. So it really kind of melts into that stretch. Again, since this is the first kind of flow of the workout, it might be a little bit stiff, which is understandable. We're going to go ahead and drop that knee down. All right, kind of scoot it forward a little bit, and we're going to really push, accentuate this drive of this knee forward. So this is going to be a nice little ankle Achilles stretch here. I want you to focus on keeping this foot flat on the ground, but really kind of pushing that knee forward. All right, if you can, think about kind of lifting those toes up. So we're creating a lot of kind of tension around that ankle, but in a very well supported position. And again, we're going to hold here about another 10 seconds or so. Still getting some hip movement or some hip mobility through there as well, but focus more on that ankle. Go ahead and relax those toes back down. We're going to walk those hands out and over. So we're going to get a I don't know, kind of bear crawl position, I guess. And we're going to shift all of our weight onto that other foot. And we're going to hit a nice, good, deep lunge on this side. Nice little kind of Spider-Man lunge. I can't say that on the internet. Oh well. All right. So what we're looking for here is hamstring. I do have my heel on the ground, my toes up in the air. Ideally, this right foot is flat. I'll be honest, my mobility isn't quite there. But we're just focusing on this leg primarily. So again, we're just going to kind of sit and hold this for a little bit. And again, pulling those toes kind of back towards you. I got to promote more of that lengthening of the back side of that leg. All right, and then while we're in this position, we're just going to continue that rotation, and we're going to end up in a runner's lunge on the other side. And so we will just repeat again on this side. So first, holding that runner's lunge. Just working, open up those hips, taking note of where our tension is, and then working to release that tension. Relaxing into these movements, or lack of movement, I guess. More of a posture hold. And go ahead and bring that knee down. And we're going to go for that ankle stretch, driving that front knee forward. I am going to actively kind of push with my hands to promote a little bit deeper stretch than what my muscles can actively get me into. So again, you can kind of promote the lifting of those front toes, a little deeper tension around the ankle. Good chance to work on some breathing. And we'll relax there. We're going to walk our hands over in a much more graceful way than the first time. And we're going to sit into that deep lunge. And really get into that calf and the hamstring of this extended leg. Getting those toes up towards the ceiling. And you want to, again, kind of think about sitting your hips down towards the ground. That's really going to kind of bring out that length. We're going to do this again, one more time each way, but they're going to do a little less of a hold on each, so this is going to be a little bit more fluid. So we're going to keep that rotation going into that front lunge. All right, we're going to kind of work to establish that position. We're going to drop that back knee down, pushing that knee forward. We'll hold there about 2 breaths. And then we're going to walk those hands all the way over into that deep lunge, really promoting the depth there. Yeah, I told you it's going to be a little bit faster this time. Then we're going to keep that rotation. Runner's lunge to the other side. Yeah, we'll stick with about 2 breaths each side. I'm going to drop that knee, pushing forward into that ankle. Should feel hopefully more loose there. At least not as tense. Maybe not as mobile, but hopefully not as difficult to get there. And then we'll walk that over into that deep lunge. And then we'll bring that down. All right. Hopefully hips are nice and open. All right, feel pretty good. Great way to start class today. So we're going to kind of start next one in that kneeling position. So this is going to be a little bit more strength-based, but we'll have some balance and everything else going on there as well. So our famous half kneeling position here, we're looking for both knees, both ankles to be 90 degrees. Back toes are tucked underneath. That glute is turned on, pressing that hip forward. All right. In this position, we're going to press through that front foot into a kind of standing split stance. Oops. All right. Going from there, I'm going to slip this back a little bit. I ran out of room. This back foot is going to step forward into a good lunge. All right. And we're going to step that back to that split stance. All right, again, weight is on your front foot. We're going to hinge into an RDL, or a single leg kind of airplane hold. And here's where things get interesting. Whatever leg is up, we're going to work to rotate that torso towards that direction. So you spend some time opening those hips, right? So once you get to that position, you're going to hold that for a breath or 2. And we're going to slowly, in control, rotate that back down. And then hinge that RDL back up. All right. So I'll go through that. Let's do it all on the other side. So we're starting in that half kneeling position. I'll give you modifications if that balance isn't quite there. I had some trouble there as well. Show you some modifications we can do there. So from that half kneeling position, we're going to press through that front foot into our standing split stance. Back leg is going to step through into a lunge. All right, and stepping back into our split stance. We're going to go for that RDL. So again, planting that front foot down, hinging over. If the balance isn't quite there, we can leave that back foot there. We can still keep that hinge, all right, and we can still rotate, but we have a little bit more of an anchor, all right? So that's how we can, if again, the balance isn't quite there today, it's a good way to modify down. So that RDL with that rotation, trying to get that chest, ooh, I might have to keep that foot down. Trying to get that chest all the way rotated open if we can. Rotate it back around. And we'll stand that back up. Ooh, it's one of those days, you know. We'll go back to the front side, to the first side. We're gonna start that again. This time we're gonna do 2 reps on each way. All right, so what that's gonna look like is we're gonna stand up into that split stance, come back down to half kneeling. That's 1 rep. Stand up into that split stance. All right, we're gonna step forward into that lunge, stepping back. 1 more time, stepping forward into that lunge, stepping back. All right, so that RDL with that rotation is 1 rep here. So we're gonna get into that RDL. We're going to rotate. Rotate back, determined to keep that balance this time. Oh yeah, and stand back up. There's 1. We'll do 1 more time. Nice, good, strong hinge. So good key here is that back foot, if you are in this airplane position, to really drive that heel backwards. All right, create tension from that heel to the top of your head. And we're rotating back and here. So that back leg is kind of just loose, all right? There's not a lot of tension holding that body together. So think about if you were trying to hold a cooked spaghetti noodle straight out, it's not really gonna hold, right? So a good firm spaghetti noodle is gonna keep that tension through the whole thing, right? So be a strong, uncooked spaghetti noodle on your RDL. Okay. Let's go ahead and switch sides here from that kneeling position again. 2 reps each time. Stepping through that front foot into that split stance. Back down. 1 more time. Up and tall. 2 lunges here. Stepping forward. Coming back to that split stance though. Stepping forward, number 2. And we'll go for that RDL. Strong, uncooked spaghetti. Rotating back down. As long as that coming back down is my difficulty. I can get up there, just coming back. Not gonna let it beat me though. I'm staying strong, really focus on that balance, keeping that leg kicked back. There we go. Come back down. Lots of fight going on that bottom foot, and back up. All right. So we're gonna go 1 last time on these, 3 reps. Okay, we'll finish strong here. Last time we're doing these, so you know the drill. Up for 1, back down. Up for 2, back down. Really focus on pushing through that front foot. Up for 3. Let's go for lunge. Forward, coming back. Stepping forward, then back. Again, pressing through that front foot on that lunge. Going into that RDL. Get that rotation. They say 3rd time's the charm, so we'll see if that's the case. Coming all the way into that airplane. Good rotation, 90 degrees is what we're looking for. Hinging back down. Oh yeah, that was a good one. Last time right here. So really utilize that bottom foot. That big toe, that little toe, that heel you've heard us talk about, creating that tripod, all right? Use that whole foot there. Once you get your 3rd rep on there, we'll switch to the other side. Again, pressing through that front foot, whole foot into the ground, into our stand. All right, there's one, there's two, and there's three. I'm gonna go 3 lunges. There's one, there's 2, and 3. All right, here's the fun part. I'm gonna really work to spread my toes here. Give me a big base. I'm gonna get that good RDL hinge, find that balance, and then I'm gonna rotate. Good, good, good. Oh yeah, this might be the best one. Although I don't want to jinx it. Like I said. All right, good rotation. Rep number 2. Almost lost that one. We saved it. We saved it. One more time here. Last time before we move on. Oh yeah. Last one, best one. Look at that. There we are. All right, give me a second to finish that. We're going to finish up here with just a little bit of push-up work, some eccentric push-ups. Not a huge man. We're just doing 2 minutes worth of work. So high plank or on the knees, whichever is more comfortable for you. What we're going to look for is we're going to try to get that push-up to be as slow as possible. All right, so we're going to pull ourselves down towards the ground. We're going to come all the way down to the ground here, again, as slow as we possibly can until that whole body is on the ground. All right, we're going to bring ourselves back up to that high plank. We're going to rotate into a T-plank. All right, and in that T-plank, that top hand, I'm going to create a nice arc going in this direction, trying to basically reach over my head to touch that down hand. So you're creating a good long kind of arch from your fingertips, with your hips being your high point, your toes being back down. We're going to come back into that T-plank, bringing that back down. All right, slow push-up coming down. Slow, 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 slow. Come back up however you see fit. We're going to open that T-plank to the opposite direction. Again, I'm going to reach over my head, bring those hips up. You should feel a good kind of stretch through your lats on the top. A nice good pull through those obliques on the bottom. All right, hold that for a breath or 2. Back to that T-plank. Come back down. We're going to go one more time each way. Finish strong here. Pull yourselves back down. In control, in control, in control. Hitting that ground. Back up high plank. Or rotation. Reaching up and over. Really pushing through that bottom hand. Back into that T-plank. Almost lost my balance. Last push-up coming in here. Good slow pull. Slower than you have yet. Last one, best one. Hitting that ground. Coming back up. T-plank to the other side. Now we're reaching over. Hips go high. I like to point my top toes on this one as well. Back into that T. Back into that high plank. And we'll bring it down. All right. That's going to do it today for some strength flow. Hope you enjoyed some mobility, some strength work, some flow work. So yeah, have a great night. We will see you next time.